Hello everyone, welcome back to Unranked to Master. This game is Jayce vs Galio, and I'll quickly show you guys the matchmaking. So as you can see, it's still a couple silvers, but it's mostly a gold game all around. And so this game, Jayce vs Galio, there's a few things we're going to talk about a lot this game. So it's going to be range versus melee laning is going to be a big thing, and also how to side lane. Because side laning against Galio Nocturne is pretty difficult, but it's very important as Jayce. So first thing we kind of need to be aware of, oh my god, is a level 1 invade. That wasn't what I was going to say. First thing you need to be aware of when you play like range versus melee is generally the range champ has the advantage in the 1v1. But most of the time, the melee champ wins the 2v2. So what your goal is to make sure that your wave is in a position that once you're gankable, it's kind of coming back to you and it's going to be safe. So I'll show you what I mean. Because we get priority early, we don't need to worry about dropping a ward at level 1. Nocturne's not going to be able to gank us until about 2 minutes 30 at the very earliest, unless he does something very weird. So we're going to focus on bullying as hard as we can. So what I'm going to do, I'll start the wave slow pushing to my opponent. What this means is I'll get level 2 first, I'll get level 3 first, and we'll be able to bully my opponent. See the way I'm standing here is I'm standing in a way that if he wants to come up and CS this creep, he's going to take damage from me. I'm just trying to create threat, just like with my positioning. If he uses a cooldown to CS, that's fine, because then I can look to punish him while that cooldown is down. Now, unfortunately, I missed the CS too, but in theory, you're able to punish that. Now, it looks like the enemy bot lane leashed, which means that the Nocturne started bot side. So what that's going to mean is we're going to want to ward top side at about 2 minutes 30. And until then, we're just going to hug this side of the lane. Now here, I can get level 2 and maybe look for a quick trade. So we get a nice... So that, the benefit, one of the benefits of pushing in the first 3 waves is that you're going to get level 2 first. And that allows you to get a nice little trade there. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come and ward the top side before I harass here. And that's because most likely, if Nocturne is to gank me, it's going to be from top side. There's a low chance he ganks me from bot side because Galio does have pretty good gank setup. But as long as I hug to this ward, I should generally be safe. So this is what happens, right? The Nocturne shows up. It was either going to be from bot side or on my ward top side. So that means I can avoid this gank and I can actually just end up coming back. I do lose a little bit for it, but ultimately Nocturne also loses a little bit of time and shows on the map, which is good for us. Now, do have to be careful here. So the wave's going to push back to me because I missed a little bit of XP here. This guy's actually level 3 first. So I've got to be a little safe. So I really don't want to lose HP. And I might end up having to give this cannon, which is quite unfortunate. I didn't want to lose HP trying to trade into that guy when he was level 3 and I was level 2, right? So now the wave is coming back to us. So what does that mean? It means that we're going to be safe from ganks, and it means potentially we can chase Galio down the lane if he walks too far up. And it means that he's going to feel quite pressured to need to push this wave in. So he's going to use cooldowns, which again gives us opportunities to trade. Now the weakness, I guess, is that he is going to hit level 4. So we've got to be quite careful of looking for, big trades onto him. But outside of that, it should be fine. And we want to keep this wave here against Galio as long as we can. Now, we won't be able to keep it here forever, but the longer we can keep it here, the more threatening we can be in the 1v1. Galio might run to this place, so what I'm going to start doing is hugging topside. And that's so that if my jungler fights, I'm actually going to be here first. I'm just watching this. I might just force a trade on Galio. So that's just going to allow that to be a 1v1 over there. And I'm just going to keep trading here, and I should be able to get a kill. I don't think I can flash for that guy. So I managed to get a kill there, and basically I knew I'd win that trade just because, well, Jayce is a stronger champ earlier than Galio. But honestly, again, that didn't really matter. The main things I wanted you guys to pay attention to here was the ward top side, because they started bot side, and then trying to make sure that he couldn't roam to my laner there, or to my jungler. Now, I'm going to base TP. The reason is I want to try hold this freeze. So now that I'm stronger than Galio, like I recall with more gold spent than him, I want to try keep the wave frozen, because what that's going to mean is because I have advantage, because I'm stronger, I'm going to try and like force trades on him. And if he has to walk up like this, potentially he is gankable, or I can force trades on him. So once again, the wave control, super, super important. Galio actually traded a lot better there than I thought he would. I thought he'd take a lot more damage. But I guess the taunt's kind of OP. But anyway, like you can see that the lane being in that position is what like made him, be gankable there, right? Now, one thing you might wonder is why didn't I go for Dirk on that base? Because you normally do just rush out Dirk on Jayce. The reason I didn't is because I want to build Eclipse this game instead, just because against their team, like they're very tanky, and I think it's overall better to have Eclipse. That being said, if you wanted like the bigger spike, it probably was, well, actually no, if you wanted the bigger spike, it was definitely better just to go ahead and buy the Dirk, right? Without a doubt. I do have to be a little bit careful trading here because, again, I did lose quite a lot of HP on that gank. That being said, I can just play my range and he'll probably look to reset. So Nocturne's bot, which means we don't really need to worry about this a whole lot. Is he out? Maybe. So anyway, Galio is most likely resetting, so we're going to look to push and reset as well. So this is very important. Like, when your opponent recalls, ideally you want to push a wave and recall as well, right? That's just so that you can, you know, get that wave in. Potentially they lose the wave. Okay, so he decides to stay, which means I'm going to stay as well. And the reason for that is because I don't want to give him a free base. I don't want him to be able to recall without losing something. And because I'm stronger, I should be able to make him recall first. And there we go. We actually got a kill instead. So that's really nice, right? Like we're now very, very ahead of that. And that's going to allow us to snowball further. So I guess kind of to recap, like what's happened. Basically, I used like better lane. Well, one, I have a good matchup, right? Like that helped. But I just used better laning fundamentals, like getting control of the wave and stuff early. Abusing him under tower, placing the ward in the right spot, and that allowed me to base with more gold than my opponent. And then I TP'd back, right? And because the wave was in a good spot, Gwen was able to gank. And then just because I have more gold than my opponent, I'm able to just like win trade, basically, right? Like at this point, is there skill to this? Of course there's a little, right? But honestly, we could just fight Galio to the death right now and we would win because we just have more stats. And that's super important. If you can get that better first base in your opponent, if you can recall with more gold, that is one of the best ways to win lane on low elo. And you can normally do that by just crashing those first 3 waves or by CSing a little better than your opponent. There's a ton of ways you can base with more gold. And you can kind of see the way I did it this game. So what do we want to do now? Galio's level 6, so he's probably going to look to roam. So against a roaming champ, what you really need to do is try and push the wave and force him to respond. So generally you don't want to take these like objective fights against roaming champs because like something like a Galio is better in a fight like this. So we'll roam to help Gwen. But Galio will probably come to this. I think we should win just because we're stronger. We would need to be careful doing this normally. Like, we can do it because we're ahead, but I think normally we'd need to be kind of careful. Damn, he almost got him. I might just sit here and wait for Galio, just in case he comes this way. Okay, yeah, he might walk through. Okay, I'll walk through. Gonna trade on him. I'm down to fight him here, again, because remember, I have more gold spent than him, so and I'm also level 7 versus level 6. So once you get ahead, it's all about, like, forcing trades, you know, using the fact that I have these advantages, right? Like I'm level 7 versus level 6, and I have more items. Oh my god, and this guy has more mechanics than I do. I still kill him though, unfortunately. Do I have to flash for it? Oh, what a lose. I had to flash. Okay, so I played that pretty badly. What I should have done is, you know, held my QE a little longer, but ultimately, you can see the decision making, right? Like, because I had more items than my opponent, I was able to force a trade with them. And I know it's a trade that I'm going to win. And you can always look to do that. Like, once you get ahead, this is generally how you're going to snowball. You're going to try and get solo kills, or roams, or plates, or whatever. Now, one more thing happened there. I lost my flash, right? And when you lose your flash in solo queue, you have to be a little bit safer, naturally. One of the most common timings to die in solo queue is when you don't have flash. And you can kind of think of it as a 2-part mistake, right? Like, if I had played that better, I wouldn't have had to flash. But because I've had to use flash, I now have to play safer when it's down. Like, the worst thing you can do is now keep playing aggro and then die, right? If I die and give this bounty to Nocturne, would we lose? Like, no, I don't think so. Like, we're winning pretty hard. But that's, like, potentially a way they could get back in the game, right? So what does that look like? You know, what does playing safe with no flash mean? Pretty much, like, if I don't see Nocturne or I don't have, like, Gwen near me or something, I'll just play a lot safer. Now here, Galio's making a play top, and I cannot get here in time. So the only thing I can do is shove mid. This is very important. Like, if you can't roam to a play in time, you should just shove mid. And that way, you can make them lose a wave and potentially take some plates. If the play goes on really long, you could walk up there, but generally it's not going to be worth it, and you're actually just going to get more gold by staying mid. Now, this might be on me. Looks like it's bot. Yep, so we see the Nocturne thing through the Fog of War, so it's actually bot, and we can just keep going mid. Now, I do have TP, if I need a TP to their tower. Looks like bot did a great job there, though. They managed to win that 2v3. So now Galio came back mid, which I would say is a mistake. So remember, he's down a level, he's down HP, and he's also down gold, which means he cannot possibly win trades, right? You can see here that, you know, I don't need to be any better than him at this point because all I need to do is just fight him with my increased stats, right? And there's nothing he can do. And what I'm going to do is try and keep this wave pushed because now that Nocturne used ult, there's no real threat. So what I can do is just push up as aggressively as I want. I can hit the tower whenever I want and just take more gold. Now, some of you might be thinking, like, okay, Shok, well, maybe you should extend your lead elsewhere on the map, only if the opportunity presents itself. Like, don't like force the roam. Basically, like, if you see a good roam, you can look for it. Like, if bot lane looks really low HP, we could dive them. Or, you know, if Gwen wants to make a play and dive someone, we can follow up. But right now, like, we can't roam top because there's no one there. Can't roam bot because bot lane's resetting. And Gwen's not really in position to pressure either. So, for now, there's nothing to do except punish mid as hard as we can, right? That was Maybe a bit troll by me, to be honest, but it seemed to have worked. I think I actually should have... I think I did kill myself. No. So I actually kind of killed myself there. I should have stayed in melee, and then I could have eaten him away. I swapped to range for the movement speed, but it would have been better just to sit in melee. That was a mistake. I ended up dying, and honestly, it was probably a mistake to dive this anyway. I think this death probably doesn't affect the game a whole lot. Like, I think at this point, the game is probably decided, but you can see that, like, you know, even though I'm playing an enemy far below me, I am making a couple mistakes here and there, and they actually have had punishment, right? Like, I lost my flash here, and then I made a mistake there, and arguably, like, if I hadn't done those, this could have been a much easier game, although the game's still looking pretty good. Now, I could TP on the map here, but I'm not going to, and the reason is if I TP on the map, I'm only going to get, like, 1 or 2 extra creeps, right? Not going to get very many. So I'm just going to save my TP in order to counter gank bot, or top or something. So you've always got to think, like, does my TP actually do anything when I TP on the map? Because sometimes it won't. You know, sometimes you're not actually going to get a whole lot for it. You might only get, like, 1 or 2 more creeps. If you can, like, freeze the wave or something, it can be good. But TP usage is another thing that people really get wrong. So you have to be careful, I guess, with it. So Galio's top. I could TP gank this. I actually think it's more gold if I go mid, though. So again, like, even if I could save Renekton by TPing, I might be able to save him just by walking. I think he's out anyway. Well, I'll hover him, just to be careful. See if I can get him to back away. Wow, he is horny. What is this? Holy moly. Okay, well, anyway, you can see because Galio is going for these random roams without prior, he's always going to lose something for them, which means, like, if the roam works out, at best, it's, like, even, you know? And if it doesn't work out, he's really doomed. Now, this is going to be mid. Yeah. So I knew that was going to be mid, basically, because Galio was never going to fight me there unless Nocturne had ult. But this time, because I had flash, I can trade my flash with Nocturne ult, which means, like, okay, Nocturne doesn't get any more ahead of that, which is good. But again, we're going to have to be a little careful while I don't have flash. Like, it's less bad now because I don't have a bounty, so if I die, it's not the end of the world. But before, you know, like, dying without the flash, that was a big mistake. So what I'm going to do here, I don't feel that comfortable hitting this tower with no flash and no vision. Okay, Nocturne's bot, so now I feel safe. But what I was going to do is set up some vision and then allow myself to continue to play aggro. See if I can find this dude's base. Doesn't look like it. He might be going bot. Again, if he goes bot, though, we'll take as much as we can on the mid tower. Okay, so he decided to stay. We're incredibly ahead in items, and we know Nocturne is bot, so we can look to force trades with him. Like, if he tries to fight us, we'll just absolutely murder him. And again, we'll just come and keep hitting this tower. So I've been looking for roams, but nowhere has ever really been roamable pretty much the whole game long, right? And that's something I see in low elo all the time. Is people just, like this Galio, right? Forcing roams on lanes that aren't actually gankable. And that's really bad, because if your opponent punishes properly, you're going to lose a huge amount. So let's just come and fight this. This should be winning, I think. We should just be stronger in this fight in general. But it is actually kind of close. Managed to get one. I think we can just walk out here. I might have to recall. I could stay. I am low, but, like, they're low too. Does he get him? I think he's dead. Okay, nice. So what am I going to do now? Well, I want to reset. And I probably want to reset and go bot if Renekton doesn't, because we want to make sure we're getting some farm, right? We don't want these waves to be dying for free, and Caitlyn's already gone mid. So what we're going to do here... Not my real full. Buy mana minion. Okay, so Renekton's going top, which means I need to go bot. The only thing is, I'm kind of scared to TP to that bot tower, because I might just instantly die. So what I'm going to do is run bot instead. So now we're in that, like, side laning portion of the game. So as a strong side laner like Jayce, your main goals are to shove the wave all the way into the enemy tower, if you can, and to take as many jungle camps as you can. So what we're going to do is we're going to start pushing. Now, I don't have a pink ward, which is going to make playing the side lane a little scarier, and I also don't have flash, which makes it scarier as well. But if we kind of play around, like, for example, Gwen is bot side right now, and we know their bot lane resets, so there's probably no one on the map currently, right? So Gwen's, like, hovering me, or sort of. So we should be safe to push for now. But we need to really find where Nocturne is before we go too much deeper, because if we push bot and then we run into Nocturne without flash, we're probably going to die. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sit here for a second and try and wait for someone to show. Might quickly kill this and then just run off. So I only showed on vision there for a moment. Yeah, so there's Nocturne, which is kind of what I thought, right? And so Gwen is pathing topside. If you look at the map, like, all these camps are down, but all their top camps are up. That means Gwen is going up the map. So we need to be quite careful playing aggro bot, because it's just going to be, you know, I'm not going to have jungle help. So Galio's making a play top, which means right now the only person that can be bot is Nocturne. And I don't mind a 1v1 against Nocturne. I just don't want a 1v2 against Nocturne. So that means I can actually shove this wave all the way in. And if no one's answering, you can just hit the tower. If someone is answering you, then you can either take Krugs or you can roam. Now here, even though this is a fight that I could TP to, I'm actually going to get more gold just by hitting bot. And Nocturne is most likely top. I could TP again to this fight after, but look how much gold I'm about to get. I just got like 700 gold, and it looks like they actually win the fight without me, which is the best possible scenario. If they lost that fight without me, it would suck, don't get me wrong, but I would have taken so much gold bot side that it would be worth it. And the reason I'm able to push so aggressively in the bot side is, well, partly because I have a winning 1v1. Right, like I won my lane and I have a good matchup. But also, like, yeah, just Jayce in general is a good side laner, right? So I've pushed this wave all the way in. I don't think I can push it any further because now Nocturne's respawning. So if you have the wave all the way in, the two things you can do is you can either base and spend your gold, or you can take camp. So I'm going to take some jungle camps before I reset because there's nothing else really to do. Dragon is spawning in a minute though, so it is important that I get back on the map ready to fight this dragon. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to reset in here, and then I'm going to come on the map ready to fight dragon. It's super important that when you do fight a dragon, you've spent all your gold, right? I don't want to fight this dragon with 2,000 gold in my inventory. That's a ton of gold. So I'm just going to reset, start voting towards my Serilda, and then I'll deploy onto the map. So again, I'm going to go bot because no one's bot at the moment, but I might need to be careful because Gwen is top. But actually, now that Nocturne is showing top, I know that no one can really be here. So the mid game is all about kind of keeping track of where people are, especially the supports and jungles. And kind of like factoring that in. Now, I should be able to kill this guy, I would imagine. He does have Ignite, that's the only thing to be careful of, but I'm level 12 and he's level 11. I'm just going to jump on him one more time. Nice. So here, I know I win this, again, because I have much more gold than him and because I'm higher level than him. So that's like the main things you're going to consider for winning a side lane matchup. They might not always apply, right? Like, champs like Fiora can be kind of like too OP, right? Especially if you're playing a mage champion, you'll be a bit OP. But generally, that's like a good rule, I guess. So once again, I'll push this side wave as far as I can, like comfortably. Now, the only thing to be careful of here, again, is like Gwen is top, right? And I don't see their jungle. So in theory, I should be careful. Now, because I'm so far ahead, I think I can keep pushing. But like this would be a time maybe to be careful. It's like if Nocturne's not top, where is he? Most likely Nocturne's in base or he's bot. But I should be strong enough just to 1v2. So I should be okay. But that would be the kind of thing you need to think about. Now, can I hit this inhib? I think the answer is no. Again, I don't really feel safe doing that. So I'm just going to come and either help mid or, again, take jungle camps. So take a look. Looks like none of these camps are up. So I can just kind of hover around mid. And then if there is a fight, I can get here, right? Because the wave is shoved all the way in. So I'm not losing anything. The difference between the roams that Galio's gone for and the roams that I've gone for is that, like, I'm roaming after pushing the wave, whereas Galio is roaming without pushing the wave. Which is meaning that he's always going to lose something. So, okay, what now? The play is over. Once again, I can either reset or I can go to a side lane. So I was going to go top. They start randomly fighting mid. I could maybe have a look. I might be too late to do anything. Yeah. Okay, I managed to get Nocturne. They're pinging assistance, but to be honest, like, I think they should have gone to Dragon. So what do we do now? We're going to shove as many top waves as we can, and then we're going to take as many top camps as we can before we reset. So we'll shove this all the way in. This is going to crash under the tower. And then we're just going to take a bunch of these top camps. Like, we know that Nocturne is dead, so right now, we actually have, like, free reign to take the top side. So we'll come and take this. Potentially, they could be running here with their support, but it's kind of unlikely. But yeah, I'll try and take these away. Ooh, yeah, so that's kind of what I was thinking. Maybe the support would come here. That pushes me away, right? It would be nice if I could take Gromp. It'd be nice if I could take, like, I could probably take Grab. But basically, I can't take that Gromp because his support ended up showing up. But it's fine. I did manage to take some camps, and now I'm probably just going to look for a reset. So I do have my item. So again, okay, we reset. Like, what are we going to do coming out of the map? Well, we want to go to a side lane. Which one we go to just depends where Renekton runs right now. So, like, I just want to make sure that I can farm a lane. So let's see where he goes. Ideally, I would be top. Yeah, okay. So good. Good decision by Renekton. He's going to go bot side. I will go top side. I want to be top side here because I want to be closest to the next objective, which is Baron. Now, I could take these Krugs from Gwen, but because she's right next to them, I won't. If Gwen were bot side here... I saw that, Gwen. If Gwen were bot side here, I would have taken her Krugs. But because she was top side, I decided not to. I don't want to take camps in front of my jungler. I just want to take them when it's like efficient for both of us. So, okay. I should feel confident here pushing in the side lane because I have Tom and Caitlyn right next to me. So I can probably push one more. There might be a dude in here. Yep. That was kind of Spidey senses. I'm just going to ping assist. okay? So they're forcing Baron. This is kind of troll. Like, starting Baron without having pushed any waves is pretty weird. So, yeah, I'm not a huge fan of what we're doing here. They don't actually know I'm in this push. Oh, I think it doesn't matter. So now that we got a pick post 20 minutes, once again, we should just be able to turn to the Baron. And now this should be free, right? Because this is different. This time we got a pick, and so now it should be free. So once again, we'll kill this. And then after Baron, you have a decision to make, which is basically, do you want to reset instantly, or do you want to stay on the map for a bit? So if your whole team resets instantly, normally you should reset instantly as well, because you want to match your tempo. You want to be ready to pressure, having spent all your gold at the same time as the rest of your team. Now here, only Gwen reset, and the rest of my team is on the map. But there's not much point for me to reset because they're still looking for a fight, right? So I need to pressure right now, whether that's fighting here or by pushing the top wave. I need to do stuff because my team is also doing stuff, right? Like if I spend this time in base, my team is gonna like die here or be down numbers. But because I'm on the map threatening, Galio can't walk mid, right? And what Gwen is doing here is pretty troll. Gwen farming her jungle while the team is trying to pressure is really not good. And I would say unless Gwen had a ton of gold, she probably shouldn't have reset because the rest of my team didn't reset. Now, I could take these camps. I think Baron is the one time where you might want to avoid the camps. And again, that's just so you can maximize the pressure. Like, yeah, I think it's really important just to be pushing up and using the Baron buff. Obviously, be careful. Like, I don't have... Or if I didn't have Flash, I'd maybe be careful of being engaged on. But I have some vision. I have Flash. Like, I should be able to survive. I'm just trying to play my range and let the Baron buff pressure, basically. And slowly, it's going to chip away. And then we'll be able to break it. Playing 3 lanes with Baron is generally a bad idea. Like, I think Renekton being bot is a bit troll. Normally, you just want to play 2 waves because it's much safer. But, I mean, it seems to be kind of working. I don't know what just happened. Anyway, I got an inhib, and I think I'm... Again, I could walk to this fight, but I think I'm just going to commit to taking this. I don't think Nocturne's going for me. Take that, and then maybe I can look at this fight. We'll see how it's looking. Okay, it looks good. They might engage on me here. Just gonna kite him out. I do have Flash if I need to. Yeah, I'm not Flash. Ooh. Damn, okay, I managed to kill him. I thought, yeah, I guess Tom didn't have it. That's kind of what I was like thinking about, but Tom didn't have it. Either way, they did have to commit a lot to kill me, and we ended up getting 2 inhibs, so that's not like... Well, the game's not completely over. I think Jax can probably defend, but in terms of like functionally, the game is over, right? Like it's extremely hard to win when you're down 2 inhibs. So yeah, this one is going to be pretty over. And I hope you can see again from this game that there's like a lot of fundamental stuff that applies, like, regardless of what elo you're in. You know what I mean? Like, obviously I'm taking advantage of Galio's mistakes, right? But pretty much every fundamental, actually, yeah, literally every fundamental that I used in this game, I would do the exact same thing in Challenger, like, based off, like, the info I have, right? Like, I made the same decision. And people always say, like, you need to play differently or play different champs or whatever in low elo, and that's not true. The game is the exact same. Now I'm going to TP here. This is kind of greedy, I will admit, because we probably should just play it safe and like push out waves. But I think instead I'm just going to try play for the end. I just realized I didn't have my gate withdrawal. But I think we can take the 3rd inhib and just end up cleaning up this game. So let's shove this one in. We have a... Oh my god, wait. Just take the Nexus, the big inhib. So we're just going to kill this. And yeah, let's go have a look at the post game. So again, I guess main things from this game, the very early game is probably the big thing, right? Like again, having the ward, the wave control, stuff like that. Yeah, hopefully you can take something away from the side lanes and incorporate it into your own gameplay. Obviously, I was ahead this game, but that's the kind of thing you should do, right? Like if you do manage to get ahead of your opponent, that's another way that you can snowball further, is by taking towers, by taking camps, pushing the side lane super far in, having a lot of farm, you know, all that sort of stuff. Now, how do I honor? This is always very important. I think I'll honor the Renekton mainly because he walked to the right place at that one time when I wasn't sure where he was going to walk. But yeah, so that's our 2nd game out of the way, promoted to Silver 3. I think the damage would have been... Yeah, actually, Caitlyn can't 1v9, so what could I say? Shok getting carried in Silver. You guys say that Shok just has better teammates? You were actually right. But anyway, guys, let me know if you have any questions in the comment section below. I'll try to get to them. Otherwise, if you did like it, go ahead and like and subscribe. Leave some suggestions for champs. I said that before. Unfortunately, I don't have them all yet. I'm working on it. So I'll try to expand the amount of champs I play, but I'll try play a bunch of unique champs. I'm not going to play a bunch of repeats. I'll try and get lots of different... Anyway, once again, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next.